Hello, Family Church. Pastor Keith and I want to shoot a quick video message to follow up on what we talked about as a church this week. First off, thank you for the amazing feedback that we both already received. We love hearing what God's doing in your hearts related to the things that we preach on each and every week. And we want to ask you to please keep the feedback coming. It is so helpful to hear what God is saying to each and every one of you. But that's only part of the reason for this video update. We realize not everyone made it to one of our services this week, so we wanted to shoot a brief video to share some specifics again on what we believe God's vision for growth for Family Church is here and into the future. But let me be clear before we get into what we're praying about and what we're planning for. Our mission as a church is to help people learn how to truly love God for who God is, how to truly love each other well, and how to teach as many people as possible how to make disciples of Jesus who can make more disciples of Jesus. And as we've done that as a church for the last few years, we've seen God really multiply his church called Family Church, and it's been great. You know, Jesus said it is his job to build a church, and we need to do our best to love the people that Jesus is sending to Family Church and make more room for them. So that's why we are launching into a capital campaign to help us reach more people for Jesus. And so I'm so excited. Pastor Keith, do you want to share a little bit about what we're planning at the Ebenezer Campus?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Pastor Adam. We are so excited for what God is doing at all of our campuses, but certainly at Ebenezer. It has been amazing just to see what God has done already. He brought us together just 6 months ago with Ebenezer, and we're already seeing salvations, recommitments, and awesome things happening. Every single week, we see an increase in numbers in kids ministry. Just 2 weeks ago, we actually had to bring more chairs into the worship center because God keeps sending adults and families as well. This fall, we're planning to launch Pioneer Club. Right. We're expecting over 200 kids on our Thursday evening services. I mean, Pastor Adam, we've both been a part of churches that have planted and churches that have launched campuses, but Jesus is blowing us away with what he's doing right here at Family Church. So there's some things that we believe that we need to do in order to keep growing well. For example, there's no air conditioning in the entire lower level of the building, and that needs to change before summer. So what we also said is that we would remodel our upstairs lobby, our sanctuary, and we also want to do that this summer if we can. There's quite a few updates that need to happen with our sound system, with our video, with our online streaming, all of that stuff. We need to remove some walls between kids' classrooms in our lower level because so many kids keep showing up. We have to have more space. We're also planning towards a second service Sunday morning launch in September. To put it in perspective, in 2021, we invested $250,000 to get things ready for ministry. But we realized we need to be somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million to invest into things of growing in the future. So this weekend, we are starting and launching a campaign to raise $1 million to help Ebenezer keep growing.
Yeah, I love it, Pastor Keith. And it's been so fun watching Jesus do what none of us would have thought was possible just a couple of months ago. And so let me speak to what we've been seeing at the Grace campus of Family Church as well. So like our Ebenezer campus, Jesus just keeps sending more and more people. And that's why we talked about adding on to our building last fall. But as you all know, prices are skyrocketing all around our world right now. So we began these expansion plans, and to pull you into the picture, it was estimated by our builder, we got an $8 million expansion. And we thought that was expensive, but we thought we could raise it. Well, during COVID, $8 million grew to $10 million. We're like, that's a lot of money, but you know what? We think we can still do it. Well, as you know, costs continue to skyrocket, and $10 million now became $14+ million. And so we said, God, that sounds like a lot of money. God, do you have a different plan for us? So we decided to slow down. We decided to pray more, and we decided to ask God, is there a different door that you want to open for us to go down? And so we reached back out to actually several churches that contacted us during COVID asking for help to see if they wanted to have more conversations. We had a few other churches actually reach out to us, but nothing concrete has happened with any of those yet. We're still praying that something does, but nothing yet. And so we prayed and we prayed and we put together a team of people to help us think and process about how we go after fundraising and so on and so forth. And then it seemed like God opened a different door. God seemed to open a door for us to launch another campus a different way. God seemed to open a door for us to buy a building that I've been praying for over 4 years to become a church. And I found out Pastor John and Pam Haddocks in our church have been praying over the same building for over 20 years that it would become a church. And as a reminder, our goal isn't a massive worship space with thousands of people where you come in and you get lost, fade in and fade out. Studies show that about 500 to 750 seems to be the sweet spot of sanctuary sizes. And so we as a church have decided we would rather have multiple locations with a variety of size churches, but forces us to get more people involved in ministry. And so God brought to us the potential of a building that we can acquire that's actually equidistant from Grace and Ebenezer Campus, that we could do far more, that would cost far less than actually building new construction. I hope that sounds good to some of you.
It does.
Just around the corner from us is a building that's been sitting largely vacant for over 4 years. You might know it as the former FMB or Huntington Bank headquarters. It's on 16th Street or Adams Street. It's 10717 Adams Street if you want the address actually. And here's why we're excited for it. It has plenty of parking. It has like 400 parking spots. And if you've been to either of our campuses, parking's a major issue. To upgrade our parking lot at the Grace campus, we looked at that over the last year, and it's over $2 million. That literally doesn't help anything other than keep us off the grass, I guess. The good news is this new building inside is largely wide open. There's so many open spaces that would work well for worship and fellowship spaces. We can hit our goal of 750 seats in this building and have a big cafe and a fellowship space and lots of room for kids ministry, plenty of room for Bible studies without needing to set up and tear down all the time. And to make it even better, there's another level below this building where we can say to God, God, what do you want us to do to serve our community in a unique way all week long? There's enough space where we could start a daycare or a preschool, which is a major need in our community if you're not aware. We could expand our homeschool ministry, which is amazing. We could launch a Christian school. I mean, the lower level of this building is 60,000 square feet. To put that into perspective, Zeeland Christian's last expansion was 16,500 square feet. So we have a lot of room to say, God, how do you want us to serve our community with education or other things? The building sits on over 40 acres of land. The opportunities are literally endless for what God could do. So God seems to be directing us towards a building where we can connect more people with God, where we can impact more families for God, where we can continue to grow God's kingdom, where we can dream big and ask God, what do you want us to do to serve our community? And we can again buy this building for less than half of what it would cost us to build a new building on our Grace campus and have 4 times as much space for half the money. And so we're working on remodeling costs and all of that kind of stuff, and we think we can get that done for a couple of million. So we are launching this capital campaign to shoot to raise $10 million to launch our 3rd campus location. And I know that sounds like a lot of money in reality, but bear in mind the average single family home in America is now over $300,000. My family, we love to camp. The Christian Reformed Campgrounds is launching a capital campaign to add on for campers at about the same amount of money. But we are going to use that to win people for Jesus every week and allow us to reach more people here and around the world for Jesus. And so let me say, I know $10 million for a 3rd location and $1 million to help our Ebenezer campus continue to grow sounds like so much money. And it is. But let me share you again the exciting news to help us all realize we can do this. From last fall till now, we have already raised over $1 million for this. We have pledges already in hand of $2 million more for this. And we have a generous donor that's come forward that's going to match all future donations up to $2 million in addition to that. So right there, the project is already halfway funded. So if we as a church can raise another $2 million or so, we'll be sitting at 3/4 funded right out of the gate. Awesome. And to make it even more exciting, we aren't going to lose our missional focus as a church. Like we raised and gave away over $700,000 to missions last year. So we have another donor that's come forward and said we're going to match the money in Kenyan dollars as well. So your money will get doubled here and doubled in Kenya. So we'll continue to build churches and schools and clinics in Kenya. And it's amazing what God is going to do to double your money here and again overseas as well. So it's just so amazing.
It truly is. I mean, I hope that you will all be a part. Anyone who calls Family Church home will be a part of this movement and jump on board, like we're going to see in the story of Nehemiah in our sermon series and how they jumped on board as well. Because we can't do this without everyone. We cannot do this without all of you. So let me encourage you. We gave away pledge cards during services. They're available every single week, every single weekend. Get yours. And we're going to ask you to turn yours in during the month of March, during this month. So take that card home and you pray over it this month. We want you to prayerfully consider the level at which you're going to participate. We want you to specifically make a commitment from every family and turn it in by the end of the month. And we're going to ask this as a point of feedback and even affirmation of what we believe God's calling us to do, so we have a clear plan to fund it. Maybe you would consider a one-time gift, or maybe a recurring gift over the few years ahead. Maybe you want to donate stock or bonds or property. There's so many ways you can give, and you could help maybe with an interest-free loan even.
Yeah.
Wherever God leads you, that's where we want you to be.
Yeah, so again, if you have any questions, please let us know and we will answer all of them. We are excited to have 3 locations in the near future in West Michigan to reach more people for Jesus. And let me ask the most common question that we both got on Sunday: what happens with Grace? Hey, the easy answer is nothing. Grace Campus stays. We're going to continue the ministry here. We're just launching a 3rd location, and more details will come on that. But basically the plan is we'll do the same thing we did at Ebenezer. Our pastors will move over there, and we'll go back and forth for a season. Me, Pastor Matt, Danielle, etc., going back and forth. And then as we build up services there, we will hire staff, raise up more leaders, and then eventually separate the 2 and do what God's called us to do. And it worked great at Ebenezer, so we believe it will again. So thank you so much for everything you do to support the ministry here. God bless you all. Keep the questions coming. We love you guys, and we'll see you for church this Sunday. It's going to be a great message. You don't want to miss it.